Okay, guys, I want to talk about our movement preps. So I actually got the wrong document up. Pull this up. I want to talk about our two general movement preps. So, real quick, one of the themes of CrossFit gyms, or just a lot of fitness places in general, is the unpopularity of a warm up. When you're dealing with Olympic lifts, multi-joint body parts, heavy loads, a lot of repetitions, it is the smartest thing in the world to warm people up. I've been in a bunch of different boxes where I think me and Nick went to one. We did snatches without a warm up, no type of shoulder activation. I did overhead squats at a CrossFit gym with no type of activation. It's just not smart. And ideally, our ideal client is between the age of 33 and 55 or 45, which means there are a lot of mobility issues, a lot of injuries. Not that we cause, but they come in with that. So the inability to help them adapt for the intended stimulus can ultimately lead to them being hurt, which, and even more, having them quit, which hurts auto pay, so on and so forth. So the warm up is super key, and I will ensure that you guys, I'll put you guys through the grinder to make sure that you know what you're doing, uh, and have the clients start off in a safe and effective manner. So, right to the point, the purpose is to increase body temperature. Number two, take the major joints to an active range of motion. You got three ranges of motion: sagittal, frontal, and transverse. Hey Nick, go back into this document for me, and I want you to put like open parenthesis a boot camp, two boot camp movements for each one. So sagittal, frontal, transverse. Number three, allow a trainer to assess enthusiasm, movement, mood, quality of movement. I really like that one because oftentimes, sometimes you might, or just often, you'll come into the gym and you don't have it today, and that's okay. You want to be able to scale back appropriately to match the client's, again, mood or feeling. Number four, to prepare an athlete for higher intensity work, increased heart rate. I'm big on number five, adaptability. If you're doing a super strenuous Metcon, your warm up, even though it should be slow and deliberate, should just take you to a higher rate of motion, or I'm sorry, a higher heart rate, even if it's for a brief time. Prevention of injury, huge one. You want to be able to keep the clients healthy, happy, and ultimately not doing that hurts auto pay. It's actually just quite conducive to actually growing a gym, or not conducive. In most cases, the general warmer should be led by the trainer, focus on whole body range of motion, be easy to train, explain, lead, be performed at a high moderate pace, require less skill and less impact. Number five is big. Not trying to do a warm-up that involves something crazy or something super hard. And if you have a Metcon coming up that is very strenuous, you don't want the warm-up to be that, because you're just defeating the purpose. When you're doing the warm-up, here's what you want to avoid: complex or very high skill, heavy. There should be nothing ever heavy in a warm-up. Unnecessary taxing on the athlete, I just talked about that. Performing at high speeds and high intensity or high impact, or both. Number five is a little bit taboo. Sometimes you can go a little bit of a higher intensity if you're doing a game or something along the lines, but please know the difference. Here's the protocol. The warm-up is also known as the movement prep. It has three parts: dynamic, mobility, and movement. So those are our three pieces. The basic protocol is this: after question of the day, perform the warm-up or go right into the movement prep. So again, dynamic warm-up is optional. Number two, if using a piece of equipment like a kettlebell or blue band, tell the group to grab that first. And then when they do that, they should line up in two lines, arm space apart, 8 to 10. So arm space apart sideways next to the person, then 8 to 10 feet across from the person that is in front. Number three, once group is in line, have coaches begin exercises. Once group is in line, I actually got that wrong. Once group is in line, have athletes begin exercises. And then once preparation is done, instruct athletes to put equipment back, grab water, meet at the board for a WOD brief. Please pay attention to number 4 because there should always be a why brief. So very, 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 very important. And then down here we have our 2 sample movement preps. A couple things that are not listed that I wrote down that will probably be in a different section. Please make sure that you're following this. I'm going to explain why I came to this conclusion and where my theories and my thinking was. Dynamic movement, dynamic warm-up, use the length of the gym. We're going to do some movements with walking and running to get the body stimulated. Nothing too crazy. Again, if you don't know any of these movements, shame on you. From there, after my group is there, I'm going to tell them to grab 2 blue bands and line up in 2 lines. Notice how I said that now instead of, somewhere down here where they got to like break their lines and it doesn't work and it's super disorganized. From there, I'm just going through the movement. So check me out. Supine leg raises, leg circles, counterclockwise, mountain climber holds. All these movements are on the ground. Even these movements are on the ground. So I'm activating low back. I got hips. I'm activating the shoulders with the lateral chest openers. I got my 10 hip transitions, my single leg glute bridge. Notice that it doesn't say like 5 push-up to downward dogs and then, 5 squats. And then, you laying back on your back. So it's back, back, not back standing for squats and then back. In all cases, they won't be like that, but as coaches are allowed to design their own warm-up. But in most cases, it needs to be seamless or a nice flow. It's just seamless. 1 round. Now I'm standing up, and then I'm up for the rest till I got my mountain climbers. So this activates the total body. I'm not going to go into depths of the movement. Movement prep 2. I'm gonna screw this up. Dynamic warm up, or you could play a game. So I just try to mix it up, give you some different options, and then same thing. We're doing some type of dynamic warm up. Grab a PVC pipe, 1 round of leg circles, bootstrappers, jumping jacks, band pull aparts. Again, I'm down. Supine leg circles, single leg rock backs, bear squat, scorpions, 4 8-second pigeon holds. And then I'm going to stand up for the rest of the session. And again, the up down needs to try to be avoided. It's just kind of confusing, but in some cases you can't avoid it. Your goal is to memorize all of these movements. Not only memorize these movement preps. And I want you to memorize them to dictate so you can understand the flow and how things are working, that you can replace this with different movements. Because again, our coaches are allowed to come up with their own movement prep. So that's kind of my situation here. In order to learn this, you're going to need to know what each movement does. You need to be able to not only know it, but teach somebody else, teach me. And obviously, if you can teach me, you can teach a class. So we will take the utmost ability for you guys to learn. I really want you guys to learn this, so we will make the test very hard. So yeah, make sure you know all the movements. Have a good day.